Hello, everyone. The third eye is taking you to see the world. Today I'd like to share you something different, the things that you may have never heard before. It's from the series of articles written by Mr. Lee Doubt, named Looking for the Key to High-Dimensional Spacetime. We will prepare a series of specials. Thank you for your attention. There have been many splendid cultures in human history. Chinese culture is an independent and perfect system. It is completely different from modern Western science system. Behind it leads to a mysterious world that is higher than human beings. And the high-dimensional mysterious world is actually connected to the real world of our humans. Humans could open up and enter to high-dimensional worlds. The key to open the door of high-dimensional spacetime world lies in Chinese culture. If we can completely comprehend the abstruse of Chinese culture, then we could find the key to open the high-dimensional world. There are 3 mysterious ancient books handed down from Chinese far ancient history, known as 3 great ancient books, so-called Shanhai Jing, I Ching and Huangdi I Ching. Now the people even don't understand it all, and find it mysterious. That's because the Chinese have lost the codes to unlock Chinese culture long before. If this set of codes is retrieved correctly, people could find the answers, be freed from the lowest dimensional spacetime of the universe. This is the purpose of our series. At this special moment in history, humans are in the darkness. We'd like to look for the lost codes of Chinese culture, look for the key to open high-dimensional spacetime, and to enter the mysterious world with you together. You will find that it is real. We will start from the 3 great ancient books, to break the code of Chinese culture step by step and look for the key to open high-dimensional spacetime. We named this series as Looking for the Key to High-Dimensional Spacetime. From a special perspective, we will interpret some mysterious things, and look for the truth about mankind and the earth. We will do it one by one, and hope the friends who like it to subscribe our channel and watch the episodes down. This series of programs is one after another. If you miss one of the episodes, the thinking logical might be out of touch. Hope the friends who like it, please pay attention to our updates. Thank you very much. Today, let's simply talk about dimension of spacetime. The purpose is to set up a thinking mode of high dimension in our mind. It's the basic for the later important details. Let's start with the simplest basics. Modern science believes that the universe was come from the Big Bang. If this is the case, then during the Big Bang, there would definitely not only be one spacetime, but many different spacetimes were likely to be created simultaneously. Many people may have experience of fortune-telling, or have heard other people's fortune-telling, knowing that different kinds of mysterious predictions and fortune-telling, which handed down since ancient, are very effective. The approximate of a people's fate could be calculated. The key point could be calculated very accurately, and even some experts can calculate it 100% accurate. Not only the fate of the individual, the development of the entire human society and human history can also be predicted in advance. We find that many masters or prophets, they have handed down various predictions in history. They even predicted very accurately the major events that will happen in human society hundreds of thousands of years later, and most predictions have been fulfilled. How did those masters or prophets know in advance what will happen in hundreds or thousands of years later? One explanation is, they are at far higher level than mortals. They have already found the key and opened up the door of high-dimensional spacetime. They have jumped out the low-dimensional spacetime of humans, and could visit between different spacetime dimensions. They are not restricted by the low-dimensional spacetime, and could see the past and future of human society. Now the dramas of time travel genre are very popular. Does the time travel exist? Many advanced and open scientists believe that spacetime tunnels are real, and even there is news that the military of a certain country has been secretly conducting research on spacetime travel. This could be confirmed in science. The scientific giant Albert Einstein explained in the theory of relativity that time and space are relativity of simultaneity. There is no unique time and space in the universe, and mass will distort time and space, which is felt as gravity. Einstein realized that massive objects caused a distortion in spacetime, and changed time and space. This is a generally accepted theory in modern science. The warp theory is a speculative idea in advanced scientific field. What is warp theory? Let me explain. Suppose there are 2 points, point A and point B on a white paper. They are 10 centimeters apart. From point A to point B, there is 10 centimeters distance. If I fold this piece of paper so that point A and point B coincide, then the distance from A to B becomes 0, and the space-time between them disappears. In this way, point A is possible to jump to point B, skipping the time and space in between. This is a simple explanation of the cause of space-time tunnel. In other words, the low-dimensional space-time could be distorted in the high dimension to make the possible of time travel. Let's talk about the dimension of space-time. We know that a line could be thought of as a connected set of infinitely many points. A plane may be considered as an infinite set of lines forming a connected flat surface, and space is considered as a set connected of infinite plates. A point has no size, no width, no length, and no depth. A point is 0 dimension. A line is a connected set of infinite points. A line has 1 dimension, length. A plane has 2 dimensions, it has no thickness. A space has 3 dimensions, length, width, and thickness. The world in which humans live is 3-dimensional. Everything in our world is 3-dimensional. Therefore, we are living in 3-dimensional space-time. The highest dimensional that humans can recognize is 3-dimensional. We are not able to understand the higher level dimensional. It's limited by the space-time's dimension where we are. We can only understand our dimension in lower dimensional, such as 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, and 3-dimensional. More than that, we have no idea. So, are there higher dimensional spacetimes than are humans? Such as 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional, 6-dimensional. String theory as advanced modern physics believes that the multiverse is made of different dimensions, and the highest is up to 11th dimension. It means there are many dimensions in universe, but humans can't recognize it. We are life in 3-dimensional spacetime, and the entire world we can perceive is 3-dimensional. Are there any life in the higher dimensional spacetime? The modern science still cannot confirm it, but at the same time it cannot deny it. If there are life in high-dimensional spacetime, then they are high-level life. Since ancient times, the Buddha, Tao, and God are worshipped by mankind, are they high-level life in higher dimensions? We assume there are, and later prove it step by step. Life in low dimension don't know the existence of high dimension, because the thinking structure is limited by the dimensional spacetime they are living in. It just likes a frog at the bottom of a well, which comes from a fable about a frog that has lived its entire life in a small well. The frog assumes that its tiny world is all there is, and it has no idea of the true size of the world. The frog has very limited outlook and experience because the well limits it. We are not much better than frogs, nor can we understand the existence of higher dimensions. But life live in high dimensional can visit our low dimension freely. The Large Hadron Collider, LHC, is the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator. It first started up on September 10, 2008. The accelerator sits in a tunnel 100 meters underground at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, on the Franco-Swiss border near Geneva, Switzerland. A Swedish-Hungarian research group has discovered mythical particles and experimental data from the Large Hadron Collider. As a particle, it will disappear for no reason, and if it is considered as not a particle, sometimes it will actually exist in our world. It is named Hadron's particle. It's a kind of mythical particles for scientists. Its discovery would upend the understanding of how particles should behave according to the standard model of physics. Is this similar to a fairy tale? A fairy appears somewhere, then suddenly disappears, and instantly appears somewhere else. Does it something resemble the way the matter in higher dimensions? In addition, although high-dimensional life could enter low-dimensional spacetime, but they cannot enter entirely. They can only enter partially, or they can project in the low-dimensional, but cannot enter completely, because low-dimensional spacetime lacks dimensions for them, and cannot hold them. Another example, water surface is a plane, it's a 2-dimensional spacetime. In our 3-dimensional spacetime, our hands are 3 dimensions. Put one hand vertically to the water surface. When the middle finger firstly touches the plane of water surface, What is presented in the two-dimensional plane is the cross-section of the middle finger only. It is the shape of a circle. Once two fingers touch the water plane, they are two circles, which are cross-section of two fingers. We will never put the whole hand into the two-dimensional plane of the water surface. Because it lacks a dimension, it has no thickness, and our hands are three-dimensional, so it can't fit. In addition, we can also project on the water surface. The water surface can reflect our reflection, but we don't really enter the two-dimensional plane of the water surface. When we explain the appearance of hands to life in two-dimensional spacetime, they are definitely not able to understand, or understand wrongly, because they have no such a concept, and they lack a dimension. They think that the hand in three-dimensional spacetime is one circle, two circles. It's actually a cross-section, or a reflection, and they have no concept of the entire hand. This is same as the parable of the blind men and an elephant originated in the ancient Indian. A group of blind men who have never come across an elephant before and who learn and conceptualize what the elephant is like by touching it. One blind man's hand landed on the trunk and said this being was like a thick snake. Another one whose hand was upon its leg said, "The elephant is a pillar like a tree trunk." The blind man who felt its tail described it as a rope. From their understanding, it's correct, but from higher dimension point of view, this is wrong and ridiculous. Life in different dimensions have great different understanding. Therefore, life in different dimensions are not able to communicate each other correctly, because the connotations they express are completely different. They are in the totally different dimensions. If they communicate directly, it would be neither here nor there. Therefore, in order to enable the life in different dimensions to communicate correctly, there must be a process of breaking code and conversion to transform the connotations between different dimensions. There are many beautiful myths and legends in the ancient history of mankind. Modern people believe that these myths and legends are only a kind of fantasy of ancient human beings under the condition of underdeveloped science, and they are naive and ridiculous stories. Is this true? Mythology records the words, deeds of God. If God is high-dimensional life as we assumption before, then God's words are words of high-dimensional life. For those of us in low dimensions, we certainly cannot understand it correctly, which will cause misunderstanding. Because of the serious misunderstanding of mythology, humans find mythology ridiculous. We only can understand it correctly after breaking the code and conversion between dimensions. At that time, we may be shocked and find what myth says is all true. It shows us a wonderful high-dimensional world, a real world. Modern people are not able to understand or misunderstand the myths and legends handed down from far ancient times. Because we have lost the codes to interpret the myth correctly, we may misunderstand since ancient times. Not only myths, but Chinese medicine, feng shui, zouyi, gossip, astrology, and so on in Chinese culture, all of these mysterious cultures are not understood by us. We lose the codes to understand Chinese culture. We lack dimensions in our thinking. To find the right password, we should set up high-dimensional thinking model in our minds. This is what we want to express. That's all for today. For more interesting topics, please pay attention to our next video. Thank you for your likes, subscribe, and share. Bye-bye.